It is time for you to join the Patreon for $5 a month.
5 smackers.
5 smackaroonies.
5 simoleons.
5 simoleons. Patreon.com/theboyscast. All the dirt that couldn't be talked to for the general public. Stories too hot for podcast TV.
Basically podcast TMZ.
Podcast TMZ. Subscribe to the channel. 5-star review. Fellas who are coming to Charlotte, Greensboro, Raleigh, Washington, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Albany, West Nyack, Edmonton, Jacksonville, Miami, San Jose, Tacoma, Chicago, Cincinnati, Columbus, Phoenix, Plano, and Los Angeles. And without further ado, a new intro for the fellas. And
the boys.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The lads.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST.
The bros.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The homies.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Experience the BOYSCAST.
The boys. Cast.
that one was sent. Yeah,
That's
pretty good,
my
right?
favorite one yet.
Yeah, that was sent in by composer Matt Valigdan, who I actually think Valigdan or Valigdan, Matt Valigdan music, but I always, and his choir, he had a whole choir and performing it. All black ladies, if you weren't familiar. But
That's awesome.
I think he's the guy who made Accidentally Four Boys. And a
Oh, I
bunch of
think
other
so.
stuff.
Yeah. He tweeted at me.
Yeah, fucking yeah. But,
That was dope. That was a great one.
yeah, that was great. For anything, we have a sort of announcement that we should probably make to everyone too, that there was it's not our casting call, but it just concerns everyone. There's a casting call announced for a documentary about men who struggle with their huge penises. So it's about 80,000 listeners right now just sitting at home.
If anybody's
I can't imagine there's anyone listening to the cast that doesn't apply to, right? So me and Danny have obviously hit it up. I'm sure you guys want to drop what you're doing. If you can get to the phone without knocking it over with the huge hog.
it was just tripping over your fucking huge dong.
If you're not tripping over your huge dong, if you can take 2 seconds of tripping over your huge dong, because it is an affliction and people don't know what it's like to have one of the fucking, 2,000 inches like the boys.
The whole tripod problem, Nobody knows.
Well, that's the thing.
Our listeners know, but
I can only imagine there's at home, hey, let me just cut this watermelon. It's like, that was one of my balls. oh, why is it green? That's green when they
that's
get big.
a real problem. If you got the fucking, if they match.
Big balls.
Like you got
isn't
the
great.
giant cock, but also huge ass, and you go.
Or would you rather have tiny balls than a fucking nasty piece?
Yeah, that's probably better.
This thing was pretty funny though, because it was the casting call went out everywhere. So definitely you're gonna want to get out that. They're probably registering right now.
Yeah.
But they basically go. They kind of they're using the girl language. Sure, life as a man with an unusually large penis might seem fun and hilarious, but it is not so great. Their whole thing is they're gonna be.
Well, that's the premise of this documentary.
Premise of the documentary, right? But the thing that made me laugh was in the casting thing. They go, but apparently the reality is far from different. More and more, we're finding out that being well endowed is no box of chocolates. Take, for example, the actor who played Amphibious species fish sexual superhero Deep on The Boys. He played the Deep.
Yeah.
And it freaked to me of propaganda by the Deep's publicity team, right? It feels like this whole article is for example, the Deep, because they're trying to say that they had his package was too big, so they had to airbrush it down.
But it's because they're wearing the tight spandex, so
Right.
Yeah.
But doesn't that seem like propaganda from the Deep's department getting it out there? There's that'd be one of those things that not that many people would know. And he was like, yeah, we might just CGI it a little bit. It's if you wouldn't mind telling every single person in the universe.
For sure, yeah. If we could just make this selling point of the boys.
That's the actor calling the Deep's calling TMZ.
Hello? Totally. And he acts all embarrassed. He's like, I can't believe I have to even talk about it.
I think, for sure once they get to him, but I think he calls in with fake numbers and stuff like this. I'm a PA on the set and I have a hot, he's got a hot technique.
I got some hot goss.
Exactly, right? But, so New York, as you guys know, is out of control, and especially around my neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Which is getting worse, by the way, because it used to be that the people around there, when you walked into your door, they used to say, "Oh, sorry, man," blah blah, and then
they start calling colonizers.
They've started to sort of be it bother I'm inconveniencing them more.
Yeah.
where I'll be like, hey, can you stop smoking crack for a second to get in my door? And they just like roll their eyes and they go, ugh. They pick up their stuff slowly, like
of course,
like their dad made them clean their room kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then the one guy comes up to me a couple days ago, maybe like 4 days ago. I don't think I've told you this, but it's like pretty crazy. I was coming back from a trip, and then basically I get in the door and the guy goes, we need to talk. And I go, dude, I don't have time for this. Right?
No, we don't need to talk. Guy who sells ground beef outside of my fucking.
I promise you, we don't need to talk, right? And then he comes up to me and he goes, yo, your buddy, which maybe you now that think about it, he goes, your buddy, the other day, you guys came by here and he started calling us the N-word. And
Yeah,
he's
that
like,
was
what do
me.
you think about that?
Yeah.
yeah.
So?
Well, this is
What? I can't do that? I thought this was New York City.
thought this was America. So he starts going in and I was just like, no, that didn't happen. He's like, yeah, but my buddy said, he comes up and he started saying the N-word to us. Like maybe he was drunk. And I go, I promise you, I don't have a buddy that walked by my house and called a group of like pretty dangerous looking black guys the N-word.
Also, how do they know who you're friends with?
Well, yeah.
How do they know your circle of friends?
He was trying to say that I was with the guy, but even more importantly than that, it was like the fact that the five of them, he comes up and he just starts calling them all the N-word, and then they go, well, let us slide, but we're gonna have a talk to your buddy tomorrow.
Yeah, he goes, all right, point taken, but your friend is gonna hear about this tomorrow.
Well, it was just
right?
so crazy. I was just like, yeah, that didn't happen. So
I mean, they're insane. Honestly, like I am pretty, especially with that stuff. I'm like, I just. Because I walk past there when I go to the gym, right? And then sometimes like the entire sidewalk is blocked. You're like, I cannot walk on a 12-foot wide sidewalk because there's like a shopping cart, 7 city bikes, then like a fucking all this like produce and shit. And I'm just like, come on, like we're like, you need to have some sort of. Everybody's like, okay, we've accepted you're here,
yeah,
but like at least let us walk by.
Can I walk by?
Don't let me walk into the 14th Street to get by. Like this is insane,
right? So I was sort of. He's basically, I think what he probably would have been going with, been like, listen, I'll let it slide this time. Why don't we just let bygones be bygones? You buy some crack. If you just buy $20 worth of crack, we'll just sort of let the whole thing slide.
How many of them are just, what, I might be such a rube where I had the realization for the first time the other day where we go, oh wait, are most of these guys just selling drugs? And they're all the stuff that they have is actually just the front?
No, not really, no.
Okay, because I see a lot of drug deals. I see a lot of shit.
The drug dealers don't pretend to be selling stuff. They go and ask you point blank.
I walked home last night from fucking...
The guys selling junk are selling the junk.
Yeah, I walked home last night after my show or whatever from here, and then I walked by, and there was a guy... It was the weirdest, because I'm like trying to figure out what's going on, and there was one guy on a city bike right at the corner, and he was just like handing out $1 bills to people.
Okay.
I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on.
What's the hustle here?
What's the transaction here? He goes like, here's he's just handing out these...
Do you think it's the CDs where he hands you the $1 bill and he goes, that cost you $2?
I don't know.
$2 is limited
I have
edition.
no idea. But this is at midnight.
We got Venmo. 10 is $2.
Yeah, this is at midnight, so I don't know.
Well,
the funniest thing is watching the cops crack down on them. Because the cops show up like once every 6 months to be like, "Yo, get it," and then the next day just back to normal.
No, the cops don't do shit, right? But then
You think the cops are on the take.
Maybe, yeah.
You think they're paying off the cops?
They're paying off the cops with a roll of quarters every now and then.
You didn't see nothing.
But if you think that could get worse, so this is, I don't know if I seemed like it was going pretty viral on Twitter today. Like it's going to be a pretty big news story. It had like 1 million views in the first 2 seconds, but that's just on the repost. But basically, the New York fucking state where we live posted this morning. I'm just going to play like a little bit of it, but this was coming from the State Department, if that's what you call it. I don't know.
The state of New York.
State of New York.
Been a nuclear attack. Don't ask me how or why. Just know that the big one has hit. Okay? So, what do? There are 3 important steps that I want you to remember. Step 1, get inside fast. You, your friends, your family, get inside.
If there's a nuclear attack, and don't ask why.
Yeah, don't ask why.
None of your business why.
I mean, you have I think we could all have a pretty good guess of why.
Well, why now? Why all of a sudden they're putting out there's going to be a nuclear attack, and I've got some questions. Question 1, is there a TikTok dance to stop this?
Probably not. No, well, they've banned it in Russia. There's no TikTok in Russia.
Stop the nukes. Stop.
Listen up, Putin.
There's got to be a TikTok.
Anti-Putin.
Yeah, like maybe sort of like one of these where you're swatting off nukes or something like that. There's got to be some sort of
hit the dab on Putin real hard.
right.
Dab him.
But that's the thing. The thing comes and you just get all the nuclear energy away.
I love how they think that New Yorkers are going to be so civil about it. All right, the
I
nuke
know.
dropped. Everybody get inside, get in the showers. Like, if you think it's lawless now, there's no nukes. There's no threats.
And then they go, hey, they literally said in the thing, they go, well, you know, there's nuclear attack probably coming. Don't ask, you know, there's good chance of a nuclear attack, probably 90%. Nothing to worry about though. They go, download this app and we'll send you text messages that are going to give you updates.
How are phones working? Like, there's a nuke that just dropped a fucking Times Square, and you're like, my phone works?
And they're giving you updates like duck.
I'll tell you what, if a nuke drops, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going down to the subway, and I'm becoming one of those radioactive subway people, like those underground dweller, like the chud kind of things, you know, where I'm just going to live underground. I'll never see sunlight ever again. It's just like a new class of type of person.
There's going to be some
Mutations.
There's definitely that, yes.
Yeah.
And there's also definitely going to be some people that they're like, hey, everyone stay inside. They go, no, I'm not falling for this
Yeah,
again.
no, I got softball in Central Park.
No, we're not doing that anymore. You told us to stay inside for 2 years. It was fucking bullshit.
No, but we mean it this time.
Well,
Nah.
you cried wolf. You know what I mean?
And then you go to scratch your fucking head and just skin peels off. You go, oh.
Well, that's the sort of things they
That's troubling.
said. So I don't know if there's a TikTok dance that could solve this. Could celebrities sing? I mean, at very least, we need to propose some solutions.
I think
Other
we
than
just- yeah.
they go to your building. They go, if you're on the top floor, go to the middle floor. So like, what, you just go outside of
Get
someone
away
else's
from the
apartment.
windows.
They said get away from the
Tell
windows.
you, I can't believe that they're not telling you to go to the subways, because they go to a basement if you have one. Get away from the windows.
The subways are going to be a
Subway!
madhouse probably once this nuke drops.
Dude, the true kings of New York will be the ones that rule the subways.
I mean, if there's a flag that I can put in my bio, perhaps to solve this. Is there a flag I can put in my bio, like a no nuke? So you
Yeah,
have
it's
like
gonna be a fucking flag of Russia. I'll be like, we surrender,
it's a white,
comrades.
yeah, you can. It's a white flag.
Yes.
No, but do you think that's what happens? The nuke starts dropping, and then everyone's like, you have like basically like BLM, LGBTQ plus, stay inside again.
Yes, they said again, just everyone, the corner.
Stop the nukes.
It'll be like how, the old flags, like the old like flag of Canada, how there's like
Okay.
a different flag in the corner.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
Like there's flags inside of the flags because
That's what the pride
didn't
flag
have
basically is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be something like that.
Hashtag stop the nukes starts trending.
I mean,
celebrities start singing.
Thankfully, we live in Manhattan, so we'll just be like fucking instantly just vaporized.
We'll be done.
We'll be.
Potentially
This
kicking someone
is
off a
not an issue
platform
for
would help.
us. Yeah, we'll just be vaporized.
So I just thought that was crazy. They're like, sign up for this thing and had nuclear attacks coming, nothing to worry about. And you go, and she says in this thing, she goes, no need to ask why. That's the second thing she goes. He's like, nuclear attack coming, don't worry about why. He's like, well, I think that's pretty
I'd
relevant.
like to know why.
I think it's a little
I
bit
like that
relevant.
you can just shower away the fucking nuclear stuff. Like you have nuclear. Like
Is that what they said? A lot
Yeah,
of
they go
shower,
take
yeah.
a shower and then put your clothes in a bag. Look,
Well, that's sort of for the boys, right? They go, listen,
I need to
nukes
get
out.
those nuke puppies out.
Yeah, you're going to want to get the fucking sweater off the puppies, right? So the puppies want to come out first and foremost. That's the first thing you want to do under this nuclear attack.
This might be the dumbest question I've ever asked, but if
There's two puppies, yeah, left and the right.
If there's a
It
nuke-
was two. You thought it was just one.
I
'cause
thought it was one
two.
puppy.
One puppy just looked like two smushed
if
together.
they get a nuke dropped and there's mad radiation, will nobody have cancer anymore? Like they'll die like shortly after from like too much
you think
radiation.
it undoes the cancer?
Yeah, well, because that's what they use for cancer, right? Like, will they be like, "Oh, my cancer's fixed," and then they go,
Melt,
"But
yeah.
now I have
I'm melting.
Like, will there be a moment where they go, "I've never felt better," and then they die?
I think so, yeah. I'm
All right.
pretty sure that's how it shakes down. Well, there's another, because a lot of people have talked about the sort of, recently, how, in Canada it was like this, but all the, New York and LA kind of places, basically they made self-defense like illegal, right?
Yes.
Which is crappy because people spent so much money on those self-defense courses
I
and then they
know.
made it illegal, right?
Stranger danger.
Do you remember the old Subway commercials where they have back off, get your own
Yeah,
sandwich?
yeah, yeah.
Well, you go to jail for that now, right?
Yeah, even if it's fucking Jared.
Uh-huh.
Even if Jared's coming for your sandwich.
Your kid's sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah.
If Jared and John Podesta want your kid's sandwich.
Yeah. Your kid's sandwich and your kid's cookie
You're not allowed to defend yourself.
and your wife's milkshakes. Your wife's also underage, yeah.
And her
in this scenario.
hot dogs.
or your wife's hot dog. She wants your wife's milkshakes or your wife's hot dog. Yeah, you want your wife's roast beef or your wife's salami salami.
You know, it's we're equal opportunists over here. I want to be a bigot.
Wants your wife's hammer or your wife's clam or your wife's oyster. You don't know.
All that stuff.
Yeah, so, but because of all that, another one just happened. And because the reason I was talking about this is because the bodega stuff happens so much. A bodega owner, do you know this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so yeah, pretty big story here, but a bodega owner, basically, he was getting in a fight with a girl, and then over her Interact
Which,
card
by the way,
didn't work.
if you don't live in New York, running a bodega is a fucking nightmare.
Dude, you literally have to be the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Like every night they go home and then do, you know what I mean? They have an old sensei
They
train
have that
them.
wood thing, and they're like, like Jackie Chan. They're like,
Every bodega guy has to have one of the wood things.
and you're not allowed to defend yourself legally.
You come and he's chopping wood. Oh, I've seen like 14 times where Newman, my bodega
Yeah,
guy, he got in a fist fight with a guy because the guy came in and just started punching him, and then Newman wasn't taking that fucking shit too, right? He took out his teeth for some reason.
I know.
He looks scarier now too.
Yeah,
Like,
I've noticed that. He's just like gone toothless.
I think he's trying to get a part in a hockey movie. He's
he
auditioning.
wants to be in Letterkenny?
No, he's auditioning for Shoresy, so yeah, they fucking pop the teeth out, right? But so yeah, he's got no teeth now, and then he just powerbombed this guy and called the cops and like held him down, and then the cops come and they're like, "Yeah, you defended yourself. We can't do anything, right?" So basically, so this guy. This bodega owner, Indian guy, and he's getting in a fight with a woman because she was like, my Interact card didn't work, and she's saying it's the machine. So she just tries to...
She had the EBT.
Tries to something like that. She tries to steal the thing. Then she goes and tells her boyfriend. She goes up to her boyfriend and she's like, come back with me and beat up this bodega owner. She comes back, beats up and then she comes back with the boyfriend, big like, guy who's been to jail a bunch of times, boyfriend.
He was just out. He got out from
He's fresh
assaulting a police officer.
Okay, so this
he had
guy's
just
fresh
been in jail for assaulting
He comes
a police
in,
officer.
starts being like, we're not going to take my wife's card or whatever. Starts beating up the bodega owner. Bodega owner grabs a knife, just starts letting her rip, right?
Yeah.
She gives him like... bodega owner gives him a bunch, and then the girl got involved, and then the girl
stabbed the bodega owner once.
Yeah, and then so
Yeah.
the guy,
But the guy got stabbed in
died,
the neck 5
and then
times.
now he's in jail for second degree murder, and he's at Rikers currently.
No, he's out. Worse. What's the other one? No, it's not
That's Rikers.
Oh, is it Rikers?
He's at Rikers, and they set his bail at like $5.
Boom, boom,
There,
boom,
there.
boom,
I watched a couple of new episodes of SVU. They've yet to make a better theme song than the
That's
SVU
the
theme song.
fucking
It is
best.
the top theme song in the world. But then, so this guy's in Rikers Island,
is
and
in
he's on
Rikers.
bail for $500K, and a lot of people are saying this is crazy, and why are they, But the one thing about these that there is, you could get to pick a jury trial, and a lot of times a jury won't convict.
Yeah, he'll get something though. The problem is the guy didn't have any weapon. So, because I'm very sympathetic to it, but I just see how it shakes out. I feel like fucking he's not gonna get off scot free. I don't see it. I don't see like a nothing.
Oh, what do you think he gets? Slap on the bodega wrist?
Slap on the bodega wrist. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder because it's just like. It was one of those things where you like it's so like I obviously side with this guy 100%. Like that guy probably just reached his absolute boiling point where he probably deals with it all the time.
Or he maybe actually thought he was in like real
I mean,
danger.
there's a video I've seen the video of the guy fucking pushes the dude down and like is threatening him. But the problem is because
It's not that crazy that guy could have just got killed too. You know?
for sure. And again, you're defending yourself. You're like, what? You have to wait for that guy to brandish a knife?
No, you have to wait.
And then you're dead.
Right, exactly.
Dude, you see the video of fucking Twitter is so insane.
That's why karate would be good in that scenario.
Yeah,
but-
because karate is such a useful martial art.
No, I think you take your black belt off and then you
you do that.
strangle them with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, there's this video fucking I saw posted, which Twitter needs to start having like warnings or shit on videos because they don't have a good system. There's like in Australia in Melbourne, did you see that? There was like these two guys were like in a train station and they're like, getting into a whatever back and forth thing. And the one guy pulls out a knife to be like, yo, get away from me. And the one guy is like, most badass move ever is just like, goes after the guy with the knife. The guy without the knife goes after the guy with the knife. And the guy like literally out of a movie, the guy fucking swipes it with the knife and he like does this thing, like comes back, right?
Oh, slow motion Matrix drop.
Totally like man, if you see a knife, run the fuck away. Like I'm just like just get out of there, right? And this guy goes to the knife
This guy,
without a weapon.
I think the type of guy that fights has been waiting for this moment. You know what I mean?
Totally,
like everything
man.
comes in, he goes, "This is your time. This is your moment." He hears his sensei's voice in the back of his head, being like, "You are one with the air. You're one with the universe."
Yeah, but so this guy's buddy was
Time
standing
slows down for him.
Yeah, so this guy's buddy was standing behind him, who was like the guy, not the guy with the knife, his buddy or whatever. And then I guess like somehow he went to get in there, and then the guy with the knife just fucking stabbed him in the neck. Like, and you see it happens so quickly, and the guy
I saw this in the subway.
in the subway, and the
Yeah,
guy
I
like
saw
looks at
this.
his thing or whatever, and then
You see the blood starts blurring.
in 10 seconds, there's I don't know all the blood in his body.
And that could be on Twitter too. Apparently, he didn't die.
Oh, that guy died.
I was only basing this on someone in the comments.
Oh, that dude, you watch him die.
Someone in the comments.
He
said
lost.
The guy lived.
Dude, it's like
I found it hard to believe too, but I'm a mark.
it's a fucking like a fire hose, and then someone goes because your adrenaline.
Hoser Patriot 455 said he lived.
Dude, and because your adrenaline's pumping.
He's still going like a zombie.
No, because your adrenaline's pumping.
Okay, not that.
Your heart, you're just the blood's coming out of you even faster. Oh, so it's just like and he hit one of your arteries or whatever. And dude, it's like you see in a
was
fucking movie. It's just like
crazy.
it goes like everywhere, and then the guy goes like he looks, and he's like he's kind of stunned. And
Twitter
then,
didn't take that down though, did they?
no, it's like I honestly click on it. I go, what am I watching? Right
I
now?
thought that too. I'm like, this is wild. You can put a snuff film on there, but JP
It's Faces
can't.
of Death. It's like remember that Faces of Death shit when we were a kid? It's just like that's Twitter now. The guy gets stabbed in the neck, and then he's just like within 30 seconds he's lying
It's like
in
a
a
cartoon,
pool of his own
yeah.
blood. Yeah, I mean it looks like a horror movie.
Ugh,
It's insane.
nuts.
Yeah, dude, it was honestly fucking so crazy.
Well, I got back from Toronto and I was already. I'll tell you one thing. As soon as I won't talk about that for forever, but I went to Toronto for a second and I got off the plane. And it's how you get off the plane. There's no mask. Then you got off the plane and there's masks.
Yeah.
Because there's no mask in America basically anywhere now. And I literally got off the plane and I got in a fight with the security guard within like 3 or 4 seconds. And it honestly was kind of like. Feels good to be back.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I was like, it was like muscles that I haven't used in a while. You know what I mean?
I miss this. But I thought you have to wear it on the plane.
You do on the not on the way there because that's an American airspace.
So, maybe they changed because when I
No, the way back you got to do it on the plane.
Oh right.
So
yeah,
I got it.
right.
I got him mask off. As soon as I get their mask on, I had food. I had a bag of chips, and the guy comes up. He goes, "Take it. You got to take that off. You got to put your mask on." I go, "I'm eating," and he goes, "Well, you're not eating right at this second." I go, "Yeah, I kind of am." And then he goes, "He's got one of the vests on too, right?" So this guy's officious, as
Yes.
they say, right? He's loving his power, right? He's probably been 5 minutes
And
since he
it's
got to
way-
give someone a scolding in
Yeah.
Canada. They comply a little better, right? So I was just like, I have chips in my hand, and he's like, "Well, show me your mask." I go, "Why?" What does this have to do with anything? I'm eating. I have one. And I had it actually broke at this time too. And he's like, "Well, you got to do it." And I was like, "What do you want to do?" He's like, my flight's already over. I'm leaving. In 5 minutes, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to call an Uber in 2 seconds. I'm just finishing this food, sitting down because I was sending a text is what I was actually doing.
Yeah.
And then he was like arguing. And then eventually he just walked away because he realized that he
Well-
fucking took the L because he knew I was arguing with
I
him.
would straight up just be like, what are you going to do? What kind of punishment what are you going to ban me from Pearson Airport?
That's what I said. What are you going to do? I'm already on my way out.
Yeah, like what's the punishment?
He
here?
didn't have any authority. He's expected to deal with these Canadians who'll just take it. He's expecting me to bend over, but I'm not that guy.
Yeah,
I said,
you're-
I'm American now,
he was-
pal.
Yeah, he's expecting you to be like, "Oh, sorry, sorry,
I'll just throw them in the garbage.
sorry."
And then we went to the salsa festival.
Salsa festival. That's what you were getting up to in Canada? I didn't even know there was a salsa festival.
Well, I don't know if it's that. I honestly still don't really know if it's that kind of if it's about that kind of salsa or like the dip. I was loving the idea of saying that I have like my necklace with my golden chip, like my golden Tostito that I'm bringing to get ready to eat all the salsa, right?
All the samples.
No, it was just like a street festival that we popped by for an hour.
Oh, okay.
With Waldo and those guys. And then basically we get to the salsa festival. It's on the Danforth or whatever, right? I just left when this happened. And then Waldo spots a gun on the ground and he was like, he's like, "Yo, is that a gun just like sitting in front of us?" And then the cops were all like, there's cops everywhere kicking around and everyone started being like, "Is that a gun?" Like blah, blah. And then the cops go check it out and it was like a loaded handgun that was on the ground. So they like, I don't know, blow the whistle, shut down the whole fucking festival. All
What?
the cops came because they found like a loaded handgun on the floor. But like, how does it even get there?
Yeah, you're just like, what does that fall out of? And how do you not notice it?
Crazy.
Unless someone maybe saw the fucking cops and then they freaked out and they go, "Oh shit." like didn't think there would be any cops at the salsa festival. Like, oh, I thought there was just gonna be salsa.
That's very possible. He thought he was gonna, know if he was gonna get in a salsa festival, hustle the guy who can eat the hottest salsa, and he goes, if I win, I win. If I lose, I still win, and put it that way, right? And then the only other thing that maybe I shouldn't even be saying publicly, but some guy, this gay dude that we were hanging out with that won't be announced or whatever.
Yeah.
And by the way, when he was telling me this, I'm just like, just so you know, like if you continue the story, like I'm talking about this.
Yes.
But basically, he said that he's been meeting up with fucking Ty Domi back in the day and fucking doing gay stuff with him.
Really?
It's a bold claim.
All right.
That's so funny, though. He said Ty Domi's on the fucking DL meeting up with all these fucking dudes. I don't even know on the DL. I don't even know if it's true.
It's for sure on the DL. Ty Domi is. Yeah, it's definitely def on the DL.
My actual thinking was like, this story's bullshit.
Yeah, that sounds bullshit. It's like some guy who said he was Ty Domi.
I was saying that at the time.
Yeah, he goes, what's your name? The guy's like,
Ty Domi.
Because
you're right.
Fuck Ty Domi.
You're like, yeah, he was wearing a tie, and then he looks tie, because that does. And you're giving me dome. He's just like put it together.
Maybe he was. Remember the guy I saw at the Drag King show wearing the Daryl Sittler jersey? Maybe he was wearing a Ty Domi jersey that time. And he goes, yo, I fucked Ty Domi. He goes, why was it Ty Domi? He goes, he's wearing his jersey.
Yeah, he was.
He wears his jersey just out? Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, it was just a guy that was wearing a Ty Domi jersey.
Yeah.
But he was wearing the jersey with, like, when you tie it up.
Yeah.
And
Ty Domi.
He's got some tie on it, but also it's a belly. He's got a belly top Ty Domi jersey.
And he was from Thailand. He was Ty Domi.
Wearing
triple
a tie. He's also wearing a tie.
Quad tie.
4 ties. And he's also tied for gayest hockey player. You're up.
You wouldn't say that to his fucking face.
I wouldn't. Might not. You fucking bend me over and fucking.
Dude, that guy's got the
Give me the
biggest
secret sauce.
fucking hands. Holy.
It's a big boy hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him once. They're scary.
It's the last guy you want to meet with. And then, honestly, one of the guys from the Patreon was in the airport. This is the last of the Toronto trip, but one of the guys from the Patreon was in the airport. And then he told me he was just in New York, and he was like, yo, I heard that, I know you guys were trying to get Joey Chestnut on. I actually work for him. And he's like, I'll go tell him about you guys and blah, blah.
So what does he do for Joey Chestnut?
I think he works on the crew of the Nathans or something like that. And he says, Joey's a good guy, though. I saw his stuff posting recently.
Of course Joey's a good guy.
He says he's a great guy, but I saw his stuff posting recently, and he was like, I honestly kind of felt bad for the guy. Like, he's playing it. He doesn't want those sponsors to disappear, right? So he's sort of playing it very political. He was... This guy says he's a super nice guy.
What's the deal with the fucking phone shit there with Rogers?
The minute I get there, phone shut down.
The whole country.
It was like being 12 again, dude. I swear to God.
So crazy.
It was crazy. I get off the plane. This country stinks. I get off the plane. Immediately, my phone service won't work, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I just assumed my American wasn't transferring over that good. I get back to downtown. No one's responding to my texts. I'm like, am I being fucking ghosted by everyone I know? Is my mom ghosting me right now? You know what I mean? I got to meet up with people. And then, so no one could get it. And then people were like, going around to stores trying to get Wi-Fi so they could, send people messages and stuff like this. No one had text, no Interact, no debit. I only had American dollars.
Yeah.
Everyone was trying to give me 1-to-1 conversion. I said, fuck that, pal.
Fuck that, but I'd rather starve.
I actually did 3 different places. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me if you think I'm taking that deal.
Turkey of the year.
But no way. They're trying to give me 1-to-1 on Americans, right? So yeah, it was crazy. And so no one could pay for anything.
Yeah, my dad said he's like, I went to go buy groceries. I couldn't buy groceries. I didn't have any cash. He's like, I couldn't buy groceries.
Crazy. Gonna take a quick second to tell the fellas about FitBod. We've been telling you. Now, FitBod is the #1 app for your long-term fitness goals, your short-term fitness goals, wherever they are. I've been using FitBod. One of my favorite things about FitBod is that there's 2 favorite things. One is that it changes up the workouts so you don't get bored, which is a big thing that happens to me. So you can actually, you don't quit after a little bit. 2, whatever gym you are and whatever you have for weights, whatever machines you have, you can type that in and it can customize it based based on what you're doing. So, no matter what your goals are, your expertise level, Fitbod finds your next best workout. No 6-week plans, no shortcuts, no bullshit. This is like a good solution forever. Fitbod's innovative algorithm learns your goals and experience level, then crafts a personalized training program regimen unique to you. And I don't personally, this is kind of all these ones, is I don't love the idea of having a guy breathing down my neck.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched Tulsa, which we both thought was pretty sick. And I was actually thinking when he was training like that, I was like, I wouldn't want to do it with a guy. Like, but if I had an app computer, if I had an app, which is why I do like that better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want the Sandman breathing down your neck?
No, I don't really like a guy breathing down my neck. And then I don't like organizing the times. Like, what if I like to be a little bit flexible?
For
with
sure,
when I can
the
go.
flexibility is amazing.
Small progress builds exponentially into huge lasting results, but there's no skipping ahead. Access your personalized routine on the easy to use mobile app and start making progress on your goals wherever you are. It's like having a 24/7 access to a personal trainer. The path to looking your best looks different for everyone. Fitbod creates a program based on your unique goals, experience, and equipment. Whether you exercise 3 days a week or twice a day, every workout scientifically proven to be better than the last. You can visualize your muscle usage, recovery, achievements, and workout streaks right in the app. Get on this, and it integrates also into your Apple Watch, smartwatch OS, and apps like Apple Health, Fitbit, and Strava. Build your fitness habit and become a better version of yourself with Fitbod. Get 25% off your subscription or try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/boyscast. That's 25% off your subscription when you sign up today at fitbod.me/boyscast. Speaking of nuts, Trump versus Elon Musk feud has been incredible, right?
Yeah, it's actually made Truth Social a bit more usable.
Truth Social Trump knows how to stir up the, what do you always say? He knows how to
Stir the pot?
No, how to pump or something.
Pump up Truth Social, yeah. I mean, it's still a shitty app, but at least he just has like fucking gossip on there, you know?
But he goes, so the Elon Musk, because I was actually thinking about it, because Elon Musk kind of became the new Trump for a second, where he was kind of the face of, people not liking him and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But Elon Musk was kind of talking shit about Trump a little bit, kind of knowing that he can't see it. Like Elon Musk, people would talk shit about Elon Musk, and he'd quote tweet them saying shit or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's been sort of saying, Trump's this and that, right?
Yeah, well, they're literally on different platforms.
But it does feel like he's gone, where you're just like, remember, you can talk shit about him, right?
Yeah.
But Elon Musk is so big, it's like Trump's probably just been brewing and stewing about it.
Oh yeah, and he doesn't get brewing and stewing, and he doesn't get anywhere near like the fucking juice on Truth Social. Even though he's obviously like the biggest guy on Truth Social, it's still like I don't know. He only has I don't know how many followers he has on that, but nowhere near what he had. The 70,
it's not
80
even
million.
close, right? But yeah, so when Trump started trashing him, and I'm going to read this post because it's maybe one of the best things, it felt, and then Elon Musk quote tweeted it being like, LMFAO, which I think probably is the way to handle it. But I also interpreted that as like, not interested in the smoke.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's been sort of...
Yeah, I mean,
he forgot what Trump smoke looks like when he's got you in the scope.
Also, Trump
He's a-
supporters, man, like you forget, like those guys are really loyal to Trump supporters. Of
course.
all of them hating you.
Well, half of the Republicans in the country, I'd say, are still pretty like aggressive, right? So
Yeah.
you just go, 25% of the country you lost you when you were already sort of endearing to them too.
Yeah, they like
right?
you because you're fucking bit based and you kind of call it as you see it. And
Body. It was interesting to watch. I'll read the tweet, but it was one of his bangers, and I kind of saw that people were posting some of his other bangers, but it was funny. It was like I felt like a lot of people were watching it, being like, "We want that old Trump back." When Elon Musk came to the White House asking me for help on his many subsidized projects, whether it's electric cars that don't drive it long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere. Without which subsidies he'd be worthless, and which is not true, right? Obviously,
it's not true.
And telling me how he was a big Trump fan and a Republican, I could have said, "Drop to your knees, a beg," and he would have done it.
yeah, I'm not sure about that, but it's fun back and forth.
Oh, it's incredible. But also, that is interesting if Elon Musk was going to Trump and he's like, listen, between me and you, I'm obviously a Trump guy, right?
Yeah.
And then he's been going and saying, I never voted Republican or whatever. It
You have to come out
honestly
and
did.
say that.
It honestly does feel like, to me, some guy like moved to a different school and you thought you'd never see him again, and everyone's talking shit about the bully, and then he's next semester he switches back and he heard all the shit that you've all been talking.
Yeah, a lot of shit talk. It'd be funny if Trump or fucking Elon goes on True Social, goes, I'm here. Elon fucking makes a True Social.
Yeah, let's do it, pal.
Let's do it, pal.
Yo, let's drop him.
That's the crappiest app. I wonder what's going to happen with the fucking Twitter thing. I think Elon's going to
What
take
do you
big,
think?
I think he's going to take a big L on this, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we've said this, and I will continue to say this, that we gave him one last chance because Elon Musk was a bit all talk for us, and I said this: if Elon Musk buys Twitter, he's the sickest dude for 2 or 3 years. If he doesn't buy Twitter, he's he'd have to do something really sick to get back in the good books of the boys.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I think he's going to be forced into it.
But now it's sort of switched. But there's a lot of people spinning it either way, because there's some people spinning it where they're just like, hey, like Elon Musk, he like tricked Twitter into like self-destructing, and he's not even going to buy it, like exposing all their things, and now he's scot-free. But it's like, he's not scot-free though, really, right?
He's not scot-free. Like everybody, because I've been reading a lot about it, and they go, well, there's this $1 billion breakup fee or whatever where he would have to pay. And
$1 billion would be maybe better than what he's looking
Twitter's
at.
not like obligated to take that. Like
Okay.
they're not obligated to just take the $1 billion and be like, okay, like they're not going to take the $1 billion. Like he can't even if he could get out of it for $1 billion, like he might not be able to.
What a twist and turn of events this has been.
Because this is in Delaware, like apparently Delaware, where this whole thing is happening, is like the strictest courts. So they're gonna.
What is the strictest courts, man?
Like they're in terms of contract enforcement in America. Like there's all
I
these
see.
different courts or whatever, and the Delaware courts are the most strict in terms of enforcing contracts. And they're gonna from the sounds of it, like Twitter's straight up suing him for whatever it is, $44 billion. They're just like, we just want you to do the deal that you signed a binding agreement. Like, I don't know.
Do you know how
imagine you went to go buy a fucking property 3 months ago, closing date 3 months later, and then the market changed. You go, I don't want. No, I'm not doing it. And they go, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are. And you go, the pipes aren't looking great. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You go, yeah, you are. You're doing it. I don't know what to tell you. You fucking entered into agreement. And they go, so sue me. You go, yeah, we will. And
Yeah,
you're
that's
gonna
the
lose. You're gonna lose. I don't know. Like,
Right. Unless he can, he might be able to weasel out with all of his team of lawyers too, though. Did you
but
see him
that's the
posting his
whole-
tweet back in the day where he was just like, yo, I'm assembling the dream team of lawyers. Anyone who's a good lawyer messages me.
yeah. Well, that's probably.
That being
related to
said,
that.
as I
Dude,
was
they're
saying
using
that,
his memes that he was posting, the memes he was posting about Twitter
As evidence?
in the fucking filing.
yikes.
Yeah, like being
that's
like,
a yikes for
which
me.
is like, which is like not a good look for him.
You're right, because I...
Like for him to be joking about this, you're like, you signed a definitive agreement. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, so they sort of they like switched it right back. I think what's going to happen is Elon Musk is just going to show up on Twitter one day and he's going to be doing a press conference. But his haircuts, he's going to be like, I'm the CEO, but he's buzzed hair, and he's like, she's got a bit of a haircut today. Have some fun with it.
Like, it'll be interesting to see how it works out. Maybe he'll get a deal. Maybe that's all he's angling for, is just to get a deal. But there's some people who think there's a lot of people who are like, he never had any intention of buying in the first place.
I'll tell you though, as I was saying the thing before, I was kind of like, dude, he was assembling the dream team of lawyers. That's one way to look at it. Or another way to look at it is like, Elon Musk is on Twitter being like, anyone know a lawyer?
Yeah, exactly. It's just crowdsourcing a good lawyer.
You're like, yo, you don't have a good lawyer. I'm sure he's got a billion lawyers, but none was good enough to take this one on.
Nope.
Maybe he said it was for something else, maybe too, but maybe
It's just general lawsuits,
Yeah.
suing his kids and all the fucking prenups he's having to sign, all the custody agreements.
wild. But I'm telling you, Trump's one of those guys too that fights so dirty that I feel like Elon Musk isn't. I wouldn't want to be in a tussle with Trump.
Fuck no.
It's regardless of what you think of him, he's not one of the guys you want to be grappling with. You know what I mean? It's the equivalent to the guy that like he's gonna get hurt, but you were gonna get hurt.
Well,
worse.
it's just like the Trump sycophants are way crazier than the Musk sycophants. The Musk
And
sycophants are nerds.
everything bad about him to be said has been said.
Yeah, but
there's
also-
no new stuff.
But like the Trump ones will like punch Elon Musk in public, whereas like the
I don't know
Elon
about
Musk
that.
friends are like, or fucking fans are like, oh, I'll send a virus on your computer or something. Like, they're just like,
Well,
it's a
that's what
different
you don't want.
pace.
You don't want a virus on your computer.
I mean, you don't want a virus.
If they
on
do
your
hack
computer,
your
yeah.
crypto, that is something. But
That's true. Yeah, I you don't want to fuck with Trump.
well,
Not right now too, because he's especially salty because he doesn't get to be on Twitter.
he's extra salty right now, and he needs to drum up controversy. So he's loving this. He's like, I wish a motherfucker would. He's been waiting. He's probably been waiting for the perfect target, and then Elon Musk has been chatting his fucking name for the last 2 years, and he was like, buddy, this is a gift from the great one, Wayne Gretzky. I spent 4 days in Canada. I come back and I'm like,
fucking great one, bud. Fucking pride of Brantford, Ontario.
actually, you know what? Because everyone was loving your Jordan Peterson impression, right? So a lot of people were messaging me about JP because of Danny's impression was so spot on, and I think the reason your impression's so good is because you have a Canadian accent a bit, whereas most of the people do the fake. They have to fake a Canadian accent.
They have to fake the Canadian accent.
So you just know how to do the thing. But I'm gonna. Someone that I was hanging out with told me about this. I think it might have been Paul, and he was like, "Yo, did you see this?" So basically, this might be one of the best things I've ever seen. Oh, buddy,
It's Peterson.
It's Peterson. So Peterson, he had his dad on his podcast.
Jordan Peterson had his father on.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very conservative radio guy thing to do.
Yeah.
Is have your dad on. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
all about kind of like the things
Family
my dad taught me, and
values
you know what I
and
mean.
all
I
that
feel
stuff.
like that's a pretty thing that they do. Kind of, I see that a lot, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm more having your mom on my fucking new sex podcast on OnlyFans.
Dirty dog. Hi, Mom.
Also, hi, Mom. But so Jordan Peterson had his dad on the podcast. His dad's got the
This is
same
on the
voice.
Daily Wire
His dad's got no. This is recent. I don't know. I don't know how
okay.
his deal works. With Daily
But they sound the same.
Wire. I'll just play it for you. Listen to this. Okay, so
Before that, anything like that was popular.
Yeah. I took the floor out of the loft of the barn, and I used it for flooring in the cabins at the lake.
He's even more like Kermit.
I didn't know you used it for flooring there. You also used it in a decorative way in the pool room. That's pool table, by the way, not pool.
That's some good content, though.
Downstairs here, you mean?
It's like a phone call that he just releases as an episode.
that's why he was telling me to watch it. So basically, no, I think it's because his dad's so old.
Yeah.
He has his dad on, and his dad's he's like,
I mean, there's I talked to my grandmother. She's probably the same age as his.
Exactly,
But
right?
there's a delay even when there's not a
And
delay.
there's a delay, yeah,
But now
yeah.
there's a delay and a delay.
No, but I think his dad didn't understand what the kind of the podcasting too. So he's kind of like, so hey, we were talking earlier about your thoughts on men and women. Like, what do you think about that? And he's like, well, I just told you earlier. You know what I mean? You gotta be like, no, but you want
people are watching.
You want to, yeah. If you want to repeat it, like you were saying something about how men mature, and he goes, I just told you, gosh darn, 4 minutes ago. Why am I? That's
Yeah,
right. And then,
But he sounds way more Kermity.
so his dad's
He's
kind of
really
so how's Michaela? Is she gonna come up to the cottage? And he's like, Dad, we're just not.
Yeah, this is not a phone call. He goes, it's not a phone call, but it sounds like a phone call.
How fucking good is that?
That's funny. That's good shit right there.
Yeah. I was loving the. I mean, I don't know why they just didn't cut it out.
Yeah, that's yeah.
He goes, so Dad, when you're doing the flooring, it was your idea to, lacquer the floors or whatever. And he goes, was it?
What? How'd you pick the stain? What stain did you pick? Oh, it was a tough decision.
Yeah. So the fact that they all have the same voice. So
Well, have you seen the? I'm sure we're going to get to this, but Hunter Biden.
yeah, the Bidens
He
have had
sounds
a
exactly
tough
like
week.
Joe Biden,
Does he?
which is so weird. 'Cause
Hunter
you're like,
Biden's been partying.
oh, dude, but Hunter Biden's fuck. I want to hang out with Hunter Biden.
Dude, those videos of Hunter Biden partying, the
Nice
montages.
piece on him, though.
I never saw the piece.
Nice piece.
Most of the ones I saw were censored.
No.
So that means
piece
you
on
think
Hunter.
Senior Biden's got a fucking
Oh,
hog?
you don't get in the fucking Oval Office without a fucking oval piece. Let me tell you what. That thing's a fucking Coke can.
Really? So Hunter had an okay one, eh?
Yeah,
it was
dude.
doing it for you.
No. It wasn't doing anything.
Kind of sounds like it was doing it for
No. just
Actually wasn't
just an
doing it for him.
observation I've
you.
made.
Kind of feels to me like it was doing it for you.
No, just an observation I've made about the piece of the first son. Is that what he is, the first son?
I don't know. Maybe the other guy is the first one that died.
Well,
He's banging
I think
his
if you're
wife.
alive, though, then you're a first son. Is that a thing.
Oh, no, it's not. But so the Bidens have had a rough family week. The Biden family reality show has been wilding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the Kardashians over there, right?
Yeah.
But the Hunter Biden stuff, there was like 7 or 8 different things where the reason I was even going to bring it up on the funny part was Washington Post recently did an article and the headline was the studies show that a mild crack use isn't that bad for you, and I was just like, are you kidding? So Washington Post, like in the same time frame of Hunter Biden doing crack, just has this new study that's actually not that crazy.
Weird,
to do some
crazy.
crack.
Yeah, just occasional crack. He had 21 grams of crack he was weighing up. You're like, first off, it's not a mild occasion. You're not an occasional crack.
Well, it's like
user.
probably go to jail for a while.
What, dude? There's the famous Joe Biden fucking crime thing where he was like, when he was a senator or whatever, and he's like, we just passed a bill where if you have a piece of crack smaller than a dime or like a penny or something, a piece of crack smaller than that will get you minimum 5 years in jail. The judge has no. The judge cannot use their discretion. They must sentence you to 5 years in jail, and will seize everything you have, all your possessions, your bank account, everything. If you get caught with this little piece of crack, and then his son's just like 21 grams of crack, which is.
Do you think that's
50
why
times.
Biden was saying this? He's like, we got to put a stop to this guy. He's using the whole thing for his own personal. There's also the other side of it where everyone's like, the United States government and people like Joe Biden use crack to, ruin the black community. And he's like, and Hunter.
And Hunter, yeah. He goes, I'm ruining everybody's community.
Yeah, it ain't just you anymore, pal. They're like, it's, wrecked black families. And he was like,
Maybe it's just karma.
So with that going on, and then there was.
And he's just hanging out with fucking prostitutes nonstop.
Loves
Dude, that guy must
prostitutes.
spend so much money on escorts.
Dude, Ukraine spent it, and then we're paying them back for it.
Well, that's where all the prostitutes are
That's what
coming
Joe Biden's paying them all back for, all the hunting prostitutes. They're like, Zelensky's like, listen, low key, Hunter's got like a bill with us.
Yeah.
It's like leaving the casino, you know what I mean? Like you go, hey, listen, my dad's the president, he'll sort this out. And you're like, okay, but like he does have to sort this out.
Yeah. We do insist on this getting sorted out.
The sorting's happening, so I think that's what's going on right now, where basically, Joe Biden,
And the crazy,
he's calling in old debts, so he's like, next time you got a war or something like that, like between me and you, there'll be a little extra for
be
yourself.
a little extra for the big man. That's what he calls him. And he calls him Pedo Pete.
I heard that.
That's so like all these things are so no
because he was saying the Hunter, and then there was a new sniffing video coming out.
Yeah, these things are all so crazy, but then they're all even crazier in the context that if you go to CNN.com or MSNBC.com, there's not a fucking word about any of this.
What are they saying? Like
No, they're
economy's
not saying
cruising?
anything.
No, their videos
Oh.
are like economy kicking.
No, they're just like white people are bad and
Same as always.
Yeah, same shit as always.
No, they're posting
Here's why like
crack's
white,
actually not that crazy.
Yeah,
to
crack's
do.
not that bad, and here's why like white supremacy is causing gas prices to go up, and like just all the nonsense that they do.
It's all that.
But you're like
just,
this. You're supposed to be a news organization. This isn't news.
You'd think that they try to cover that one.
Like
just to
one
sort
of those
pretend.
N's, the middle, the first N for CNN stands for news.
Well, maybe it was just down for nudes, and they should post the hunters out there so it can do it for
fine.
Danny.
That's fine too.
Yeah, so he said it's fine. I knew it was doing it for him.
Nice piece.
But and then Jill Biden, she was in hot water too, which sort of just shows that you can never win with these people. But everyone probably heard this already. But she apologizes for saying Latinos are as unique as breakfast tacos.
Yeah,
but I was like, it's just.
It's what it is though. Like the Jill Biden thing, you go, this is someone whose only interaction with Hispanic people is
They work for her.
They work for her, exactly.
Yeah.
She has she lives an insanely sheltered. Again, she is the first lady, right? She lives this like insanely sheltered life.
I mean,
And
she's
then-
a crackhead's mother.
Yeah, she's a crackhead's mother, so I guess not that sheltered. But yeah, and she's just like, and she's like, I don't know what I said that was so bad.
I think she probably went to apologize. Which maybe
She had to.
Do you think it's possible that she's not thinking straight because of that fucking hammer? It just has her dizzy.
She goes, I can't believe that fucking my husband has that little fucking pinky finger and his son has that massive rod.
Yeah,
Because her stepson. Hunter's her stepson.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, she says, basically, I like the idea of one of the other people coming out and being like, every Italian is like a slice of pizza. And you go do the other ones. You know what I mean?
Because Jews, they're just as distinct as the pawn shops in the Diamond District, or just they're like the bagels in the Lower East Side.
Every Irishman is a different IPA.
Just as like a potato during the potato famine. There's just the potatoes.
Every 7th generation white European is, a different slice of cheese on a cheese dream.
Our black friends, they're like the watermelons.
Each is a different.
Jill, shut the fuck up.
Jill, can it? You know what it is? I think Hunter's fixing. He saw the Rob Ford story, and he's fixing to enter politics. And he's like, they go, "Yo, you can be a crackhead politician," and that's why he's trying to get clean or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
He's the OG.
there's been many.
That must be a big hero for him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know what? He is. I don't know what his health situation is, but it seems like he's not dying. I feel like if you have unlimited resources, you probably can just be a crackhead.
Yeah, I guess so.
I remember in Guelph, when we lived in Guelph, I had a neighbor, this guy who
Teeth still fall out probably eventually.
Yeah. Well, he is missing teeth.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden does have. There's photos.
Also
of him.
auditioning for Shorzy.
Yeah, exactly right. But I remember I had this fucking neighbor, and he was just like a functioning crackhead. He worked in like a 9 to 5 a job that he kept, and he managed like this big parts like warehouse thing, and then he would just come home and smoke crack. And like,
how long do you know that he was doing that for?
A while. He had been for some time.
What the hell?
And he was just like a functioning crackhead. He smoked crack, and then
Hunter Biden wasn't functioning that good. If you've seen the videos,
well, not one you're on crack, but I mean, he was running all these fucking businesses, and he was consulting.
I don't know all the timelines.
Yeah,
he might have went like Bender and then went back to.
Yeah, I think so. And you go to rehab and all that. But I remember like in this place in Guelph. I remember coming home one day because the thing is with this guy who was a crackhead, all his friends, like his social circle was all crackheads, but he had his work life, which he managed to like keep normal.
Oh my God, that's like and you walk through the crackhead areas, everyone's like, Tommy, and he goes, no, around the
but
work
dude, I remember like coming home once, and there was
briefcases had a bunch of
we had
crack
this
in it.
stairwell to get up the building, and there's just like blood everywhere because like
one of his crackhead
buddies he had to fucking put in place, or someone was trying to like rob him or something because you just get involved with all these
going to
people.
your normal job after that's nuts.
He did. He probably still works there.
I know people who did crack.
He was a nice guy. I liked him. He was like honestly like a great guy.
Even when, probably not if he didn't get his crack.
Probably. I'm sure he was on crack.
I feel like that's super rare that goes on. I think most people, you get maximum a year or so of that, and then you're on the street sucking dick.
Well, here's the thing: if you can manage to not have it affect your work, then no, you can do it indefinitely.
Well, that's my point. I think that you slowly. I think that slowly stops being the case.
As long as you can just not smoke crack for 8 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You think there's like a slow release crack patch you can just wear at work? just to get you through the day?
It has to be something. I think you only wait cold turkey on that kind of shit. Well, I knew people that were drug guys, like on tour and stuff. They were just like, roll up to a city, we need drugs. Mm-hmm. And if nothing else was available, they'll do crack. But it wasn't the first choice.
Yeah.
Like, I know a few guys just from like, dirty band guys from Mississauga, like, kind of
they just need something crazy.
Right. And it was the guy was like, listen, we can't get coke, we can't get this, but we can get crack. And the guy's like, well, yeah, that'll do.
Be fine, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I've never done crack.
Here's and then on top of that, well, you're mentioning that there's nothing about this in the CNNs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of maybe not even gonna talk about this, but then the CNN did write an article because there was all these, how she did the thing about, Latinas or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the GOP, so CNN did this thing about the Republican Party basically being like, the Republican candidates that are Latina are not the real deal Latinas,
sure.
Right?
Yes.
So they're basically, because...
yeah, this is a more important article than Hunter Biden smoking crack and fucking going down a slide naked.
So, but I just thought, I read this because, there's a bunch of these Hispanics that are all kind of becoming Republican, and then there's a lot of them kind of rising up in the ranks because I feel like it's also, it's like a hot thing to be sort of like a Republican that isn't white, like too. You know what I mean?
The Republicans are conscious of the fact that we don't all want to be just all white people,
right? Because we don't want to be.
We're looking for the Candace Owenses, and
those are in demand. Probably, yeah, exactly, right.
Absolutely.
To be honest, they're probably more in demand on Republican because there's more spots to be filled. Whereas on the if you're going to be like a liberal, and you're not white, there's probably a lot of people that already got in that game and took the diversity higher positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas you can kind of come up hot in the scene as a Republican,
Hell
right?
yeah, you can.
And yeah, there's less of them. There's more in demand, but they aren't that much less. So basically, they're just like, Flores, De La Cruz, Garcia. There's all these. They go, well, these Latinos are having a moment in the spotlight. They hold views outside the Latino mainstream, and they're kind of saying, it's the equivalent of the black guy that is just like wears a suit and tie, and they're like, oh, he's not a real. It's pretty racist,
I mean, it's
right?
Joe Biden. He goes, if you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black.
Yeah, but it's more the equivalent of being like. Well, I guess it's the exact same as that, but I was saying more the.
You're like, what's a black person, Joe? What is a black person? Is it they're all the same?
Exactly.
There you go.
They're like, well, if they shoot guns, they're not really black unless they're illegal. Like, well, just stop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Joe, let Jill talk now.
Okay, maybe not her either. Let Hunter. Well, you know what? Maybe the whole family needs to take a vacation.
Else? Is Barack Obama available by chance? Just maybe fucking
Did you see the thing?
step in for a minute?
Did you see the thing on Twitter that was fucking amazing? Where it was like kind of a viral tweet with a bunch of people were like posting it as like a troll saying like, I don't care what anyone says about Obama. Like, I don't trust anyone who won't tell us his last name. And
I did not see that.
everyone was saying that like Obama refused to tell us his last name. His name was just Obama, like one name.
I did not see that.
Good shit, right?
That seems like an old head meme.
It does seem like an old head meme. We're talking a lot about old head memes on the Patreon. But the reason why it was like so crazy to me is because when they did the stats, they go, that's just not where most Latinos lie these days. And the Pew Research Center reports 60% of Hispanic adults say abortion should be illegal in all or most cases. And then also 58% of Hispanics favor stricter gun controls. And it was like,
That's not a super majority. It's
Yeah.
like a coin flip.
do you know what I'm saying?
I know.
The audacity to go to, you go, there's Latino Republicans, and you're like, those aren't real Republicans. Like 40, that's only 40% of Latinos.
42%.
That's only 42% of Latinos.
Yeah, you know,
look at this
he's-
guy, thinks he represents and you're just like, what are you? You go, yeah, it's not going to be 100%, but the obvious stat that matters is, what was it 5 years ago, morons?
Yes. And the funny thing about this
And
article
is it higher or lower? Like, that's the only stat that matters.
Yeah, this article is like, yeah, these are all they're acting like this is like, they're like, oh yeah, these don't represent anybody, and then you're like, so then why are you worried about this? Why is this even an article? Like CNN's writing about, like being like they're gonna take over all this stuff, but you're saying in the article that like they're all
Why
bullshit.
why bother?
Yeah, why bother?
You go sort it out.
You're saying that they're not going to win and they don't represent anybody, and she won 29,000 seats
Yeah.
and she's about to lose. So I'm like, what's the point of this article?
Yeah, exactly, right? You go, yeah, that's a small little thing, but don't get them fooled and think Latinos actually like this. They like us, and be like, so yeah, what are you trying to push here?
Yeah,
then?
who's reading this and whose minds are you changing here? Like,
Some Latino being like, let's do a Latino accent.
oh, what's up, man?
I'm voting for the wrong guy.
Why I voted for the wrong guy?
Yeah, he's got his farmer hat just sort of like blows off his head with his team like, oh, I say I voted for the wrong guy.
Oh, I voted for Trump. Whoops.
Oh, whoopsie daisy.
Whoopsie daisy.
Oh shit, it turns out I'm not Latino.
Go Dodgers.
Me and my family thought that we were voting for the Latino party all the time. I went made it Asian.
A little bit. It's fine.
Let's go back to Peterson. What? Did you try that recipe that I gave you? All right, not now.
Dad. And I go, no, it was a good recipe.
Me and your mom have been trying to have another kid. I go, Dad, you're a little old for that.
A little old for that. I saw a fucking sign, by the way. There's if you
Opened up your eyes and said, come on.
I was walking up, where was this? Near Madison Square Garden. There's this big building, and they do these big like murals on it, like there's huge murals, and there's like this thing. I may need to reevaluate, or like, but it said there's this woman, and she goes like, I beat cancer 3 times, and I'm 57, and I just had a baby, and I was like, what?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's honestly there. She's 57, and she goes, yeah, I beat cancer 3 times, and now I'm like a new mom, and you're like,
I don't think so.
can you have a baby when you're 57?
Highly doubt that. If I do, I'm gonna
Fucking wonders of science.
Should have probably wore a rubber if you can.
Imagine that guy. I was like, she's dating some fucking like 62-year-old
Exactly.
fuckboy. He goes, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? 57? He goes, that can't be possible. Something's going on here.
Yeah, that seems like
It's literally on like
money.
8th Avenue.
What are they selling? What do they want you to sell?
It's for it's for a hospital, like a cancer research center. But you're like, and she beat cancer.
Oh, it's
But
like
then she says-
inspirational. Like we're so good at beating cancer that you got.
But
We
why
pumped her full of
57?
radiation, and now she's got a kid at 60.
Yeah, it's like, is that possible?
That seems fucking crazy. You'd expect it to be like, I'm back to hiking every day.
Yeah, and she is hiking in the photo.
Okay,
The
so
crazy
of
thing
course.
is, in the
See, I feel like I know their formula, but I don't know this new
She
edition.
is hiking, but she has a baby. But she looks like a grandmother,
Fuck off.
but with a newborn. I was like, really threw a curveball.
Gonna take another quick second here to tell you about Athletic Greens. Just had it this morning.
I'm loving the athletic greens.
Both me and Danny, big Athletic Greens guys. We're trying to get you in shape here. And Athletic Greens is probably the one of very few drinks that you take every morning that I actually don't skip. And I got 2 big bags of it. And I'll tell you one trick that you do if you don't have Athletic Greens yet, get it. But put a little bit of water into the cup, then put the scoop in, then fill the rest of it so it mixes better.
Are you a retard? You put the fucking scoop water in first?
I put
Or you
half
put
the water
Sorry,
in
I mean you put
first.
the powder in first.
Half and
Can't
half.
do that. Then it gets the air pocket.
No, I do half and half because then
Yeah.
the water goes onto it.
Yeah, I
and then
know. You can no powders. You can't put powder first ever.
I do powder in the middle.
That's how you got to do it.
I'm reinventing.
Well, if you put powder in first,
I use this product every
Sorry,
day. No, started taking Athletic Greens.
I'm an idiot.
So we've been on it for 3-4 months. Well, whatever. I mean, it's kind of one of those things, those commercials where it's like, the old craft dinner, it's like, I use a spoon. No, you use a fork.
Yeah.
You put the water in first. I put half and half.
Yeah.
I put half the water in half.
No, but we both put the water in first.
And we're both jacked. It is actually the best one. It's got a tropical taste. And with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food, sourced superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens to start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. So this is one-stop shop for all the vitamins you need and supports better sleep quality and recovery, recommended by professional athletes. And the subscription comes with a 1-year supply of vitamin D, which is so important if you're not getting enough sunlight. But even if you are, everyone could use a little bit extra
almost
vitamin D.
everybody is vitamin D deficient. 90% of people.
Right. So this you order.
need it.
You do need it. So if you order right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills or supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Like we told you, all you got to do is go to athleticgreens.com/boyscast. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/theboyscast. Take ownership of your health, pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance, and support the show. Get back into it. Well, there's a couple tweets of the week. So probably one tweet of the week was this lawyer girl that kind of went viral, Jessica Mason Piccolo. She goes, honestly, if you're a white person who says they're committed to racial justice and you're in good standing with most of your family, yeah, I got a question for you. And the questions are definitely pointed.
Yes.
That was a big, that one I was really liking.
That was a good
well,
one.
there's the first part. It was like, yeah, not everyone who's white's family's all white. Like myself.
Yes.
Like at least 35% isn't white.
I mean, none of my family's white.
Exactly. But the other part that was fucking just killing me, it was just like, this is the thing that we've been saying for years, where like they literally are just like, yo, if you're not going to every family reunion and fuck you dad and storming out in a fit of rage, do you really care?
Yeah, do you really care?
And you go, whose opinion? You go, so that's changed 0 opinions, but you go, no, but if your family's on the bad politics side, you shouldn't even be able to have a beer with them.
Yeah, she's tricking a lot of people into getting written out of their wills. Like, goes, yeah, I should do this. And,
Yeah,
and then their dad's out. You go, wait, I'm not in the will? You go, no, you ruined every Thanksgiving
Yeah,
for
we
like
hate
12
each other.
years. Fucking hate you.
That's the real
Bullshit.
move. If you care about this stuff so much, get in the will, take the money, and then donate it to
Yeah.
a cause. But you aren't going to do that, are you?
No.
Jessica
you're not.
Mason.
No, you're not Jessica
Doesn't
Mason.
sound like you're going to do that.
No, she ain't.
Nah, she ain't.
Nah, she ain't.
Nah, you ain't doing none of that. You ain't doing none of that. And then the second one that I was liking was Twitter debating whether Anne Frank had white privilege.
I looked into it's interesting because I went and looked at the guy who posted it, and he's like a communist.
People were agreeing.
He's a communist.
You don't say.
Well, the commie people do because they're all like just obsessed with race and class and all that stuff. Right?
I think they're more obsessed with race these days.
Yeah,
Some of them, the old school
but class is a big one too, where they just they can only look at the world through all these lenses, and they're all just like capitalism and it's nonsense. But
where I look at the world through two lenses: titties or ass. And you don't have one of them.
Do you think
if you don't have one of those two, I put black lenses on because I ain't looking.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I looked at the.
Do you think
tweet.
she had privilege or not?
I was upset that not a lot of like the super.
I'll tell you what, J Post wasn't happy.
Well, yeah, no shit. But I was. I was upset that I went and looked at the comments, and none of the super mega base people showed up being like, she's not white.
Oh, yeah.
And then having to make this communist, like this Korean communist and fucking this other person, these people just get into this debate.
But they agree. So,
Well, eventually they meet and they go, yeah, I see it. But
she had white, she had white privilege. Like, no, she didn't.
No.
So those are my two favorite Twitter.
I mean, she literally had a fucking
J
J in her passport. I don't know, this is the whitest privilege. And I was saying this yesterday, but like where she lived, there weren't non-white people.
Well, even better. Yeah, of course, that's even better.
It wasn't like this fucking diverse, like it wasn't New York City.
They cannot see anything through the lens of where they look.
But even like you can't even understand a context where you go like,
she still could have probably have her Latino nanny do all her stuff for her, and she goes, I don't think they had Latino nannies in Germany.
Yeah, like dude, my fucking grandmother, like my grandmother's like, yeah, I didn't see a black person in my life in the flesh until I came to Canada.
Not for lack of trying, because I got a bit of a fever, Danny. And she goes, Grandma, why are you telling me this? I heard the rumors. I took a trip to Africa too, but they only let me visit the Jewish cathedrals, and I wouldn't talk to my mom for 3 days.
Yeah, it was.
I was doing Kegels all week to warm up for it. And
you know what, though? If you go find this original tweet, this subsection of people, like these communist kind of like anarchists, they are interesting people, the way their brains like work or don't work, I guess. But just it is like an interesting subsection of people. They're angry at everything. They don't like anything,
right?
Like nothing.
And if you're not angry at your parents, then you're fucking.
They get joy from like nothing. Like even you post a photo of like a dog, and you're like, yeah, well that dog's not choosing to be in this photo right now, and that dog's a slave, and someone bought that dog, and that dog was forced.
Some
to
people
bread.
don't have dogs.
Some people don't have dogs. Like just like they're miserable. These are the most miserable people on earth. Like it's insane. And then again, this person lives in like California. You're like, do you really have that much to be miserable about?
Yeah,
they do.
The fucking Newsom ruining the country.
Those are the people who. That's like the type of person who, like, with something like the Cambodia, like in Cambodia, how they were like, we want this reset to the year zero, and then they started just they killed like half their population.
Yeah.
That's how that shit starts.
Oh, of course.
We need to level the playing field. What does that mean?
There really is only what other solution that could happen to get them what they want, right? How else would you do it?
Yeah, but they go. They want to level the playing field, and you go, yeah, it's just like forced mass extermination.
Yeah,
it's not redistribution of assets.
And all some of these people, it's like the first one to get leveled is their parents probably.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
for sure. But they're probably so demented.
Their parents who were like
they're
the
like
CEO of fucking Pfizer. Or
yeah,
some
they're
shit.
like, yeah, fine. If that's what needs to happen, that's what needs to happen.
Their dad who runs like a Hollywood studio or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They go, man. Collateral damage.
Yeah, the CFO of Disney's daughter is,
yeah, total fucking
all into this shit.
Commie.
Well, okay, so you actually sent me this, but in Canada,
it's gonna be fucking new merch.
What?
New fellas merch.
Which one?
This one.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's basically it's my joke, right? Yeah. There's a quest for an all-female roofing company. It draws tradeswomen from across Canada, and so basically
all 6 of them.
He had the best point where it was like, they go, like they spun that as a positive, but they're just literally like, hey, we wanted to put together this roofing crew of girls, and they had to go to like fucking other provinces.
Dude, they
to
literally
find
went
them.
to, this was in, I think it was Belleville, Ontario.
Yeah.
Somewhere in northern Ontario, or not northern, but like whatever, eastern Ontario. And then they're like, we had to bring in, like, to do a roofing job on, like, you know, a 1,200 square foot house. Like, we're not talking like, we're not
4G job.
Yeah, you're like, whatever. We're not talking about like, oh, they have to do the roof on Parliament in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like the biggest job in the country. It's just like a bungalow.
Just a guy wanted a deck.
Yeah, no, it's just like the
Oh, no,
roof.
yeah,
yeah,
right.
whatever. But it's like doing the roof of like a bungalow in Belleville, Ontario.
Some guy needed a repair on a few shingles.
And they have to go. They have to fucking get the crack team. There's like Ocean's 6 or whatever.
But imagine that there's like New York, they're like, we have an all girls roofing company. It's like, where are you getting them? It's like, we flew a girl in from Minnesota.
Dude, they had to get a sponsorship to make up for the like extra expense
Yeah.
because they wouldn't obviously be able to charge market rate.
We flew in a fucking Nancy from Delaware.
So they legit flew in a woman from Saskatchewan for like just like a laborer. Like it's not like, oh, we have to get the best engineer in the country. She's in Saskatchewan.
And then after she's
Just
like,
like a
all right,
laborer.
what are we doing next? She's like, we kind of only had this one job. We got
weird thing. Not super in demand for this all female. You go, why don't you charge less? You go, oh, we don't have the margins for that.
But however, we do have this CBC article coming out, so we're hoping that'll draw up some business.
I mean,
but it is
honestly-
my joke. I saw one of these about an all-girl moving
I know.
company, which is why I was talking about that on stage, right?
But there's one thing to be like, okay, all girl moving company, but the idea that to prove this point that you have to go across the country
And they spin it like it's positive.
and get a sponsorship to
What's
cover.
the sponsorship?
So some company sponsored
no.
because it doesn't make sense.
Well, because otherwise the $1,200 there's
the
reshingle
flights.
their.
Well, you go, there's all these extra flights now, and like you got to like hotels, like all this shit.
They heard about one girl in northern Alberta where they go.
It's like how
we
they
go, hey,
scout-
we're getting a roofing crew. He goes, I don't do that anymore. She's doing her other job as like she's a florist now. So they go find the one girl that's a florist, and she's like, I got out of that game. Why? It's like, yeah, I was really bad at it.
Yeah,
and
really
they're like,
not really much demand. Really hot. I like this.
It was
better.
kind of hot. I'm married now. And you go, well, we're getting the gang back together for one last job. I guess we'll pay for your flight. She goes, I'm in. It's like literally MacGruber, right?
Yeah. It's like or like Ocean's 11 or whatever.
Yeah, there's
Like,
another
yeah.
girl. She's working at a marketing company for fucking $70,000 a year, and they're like, "Listen, we're getting the gang back together." And she's like, "One job pays $20 an hour cash." She's like, "I'm working marketing now. I'm pretty good
Yeah,
job.
it doesn't
I
really
more
make
than that."
sense for me to fly from Regina.
I did that for a summer job once because my uncle does it.
Yeah.
And honestly, he was just giving me
Yeah, it
money
was,
as a
just it was
favor.
mostly just a punishment. I was kind of a bad kid, so
yeah.
So,
it was either that or boarding school, work at my uncle's roofing company for a week.
Summer, I just took the roofing job, but I don't really want to do it.
How
does this even get in the news?
Oh, that's so funny though. Like either there's two options. One, I guess there's three options. The super progressive family where they're all just like so happy. Like the dad's like, oh, I've never seen anyone roof this good. Like
Yeah.
he's taking pictures of it. Like just hired a roofing crew, nothing out of the ordinary. Or it's the girl, the wife got the roofing crew, and the dad's just like, oh, like can we just not hire these guys? And they're screwing everything up. He's just hearing like cling, clang, cling, clang.
I want to talk
He's
to
downstairs trying to eat a sandwich.
yeah, I want to talk to the husband of the woman who
Or he's a mad perv, you know what I mean?
no, well, it's the woman.
That's
It was-
option
so it's
three.
the chick who owns the house. She's like, I need a roofing job, and I want specifically. So she arranges. But the husband probably like they show up for work, and he's just, he was not in favor of this idea at all. He's like, why don't we just get someone local? Like my friends have a roofing company in Belleville.
Yeah, we need money. Can I get your credit card? Because we're going to fly a few chicks in.
all this stuff, and then he fucking wakes up and he's just like sitting on the lawn, just watching them, and he goes like, "That's how they're doing this?" Like, because he knows how to do this, he just can't do it, and she won't let him. He's just fucking like, he's like, what? Because that's not how you fucking.
Hey, I've got,
nail the
actually,
shingles in.
I actually know a body who's got a guy. Well, just him. He says a couple grand. He's like, I was thinking we fly in 3 girls from Saskatchewan.
He goes, that in the budget? You go, it will be. We got a sponsorship.
Who's the sponsor?
It was some like roofing
Holy shit.
company or some shit.
A man's roofing company sponsored the girls' roofing company?
Yeah, of course.
Come
There's
on.
no such thing as a non-man's roofing company.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, it was. It was in Belleville.
Do you know what the name is?
No, but I can find
The
it.
Summit Sisters.
Oh, the Summit Sisters.
He goes. Also, we fucking spend about 80 grand on
A tool. It says they were
our
helped with-
matching uniforms, but they're like Zoolander style.
It says right here they were helped with some of the costs associated with bringing the team together by a sponsorship from a Mississauga, Ontario tool company.
Oh, the tool company.
Yeah. I'm sure that they wanted to do that.
So they had their Summit Sisters jerseys sponsored by Black and Decker. or
Yeah, they
whatever.
look like a fucking like Czech hockey team, just like all these different fucking sponsorships all over their shirts.
The fact that this story is so funny. Or is that the tool company that's like, listen, we got to get our bang for the buck. So they started getting a publicist, getting it out there, like, but I don't even know if they
Or
mentioned
it was
the
just
tool
like
company.
so it was they got blackmailed. They called. They go, what you want to be the company that's not going to sponsor us because we're women? And go, fuck. How much do you need?
Do tool companies sponsor like small business roofing companies?
Like not maybe in the
Can you
sense
imagine you run a landscaping company? It's like you and your two buddies are cutting lawns, and you call up like the lawn company, and you're
Like
like,
you-
"Hey, look, every time we're cutting a lawn, we'll have your jerseys on us."
Well, you might to the extent you go, we'll give you like 10% off fucking like,
Fertilizer.
lawnmower repair if you throw our fucking logo on the side of your van.
I guess if on your
Not like-
van, maybe.
Yeah, not like this though.
But then these girls, they're already on. They have one job. They've already got matching uniforms,
Look
a
at this. It
van,
says-
a sponsor.
This is great. Look, it says fucking Dakota.
It's like the Japanese guy that starts skiing and he never learned how. He's on the bunny hill with $12,000 worth of gear.
It goes, look, Dakota made the 3.5-hour trip from Welland to Plainfield, while other team members came as far as Alberta and Saskatchewan to work on this roof. It's just like a roof. Like, I don't even know what point was made because you can't do it again. You go, okay, we have another job. You go, yeah, I'm not moving from Saskatchewan or Alberta.
They finished and they go to the guy. He's like, "All right, thanks, girls." He's like, "Do you have any other roofs?"
Even if they did. What? So the woman goes back to Saskatchewan, goes, Gani, we got to move to Ontario. I'm getting in the roofing business. And he goes, I have a really good job here.
I was gonna
He goes, you could be a roofer here in Saskatchewan. There's a lot of demand for it. But I can't be on an all-woman crew, though.
Yeah. Summit Sisters.
Summit Sisters.
Summit Sisters.
I mean, shout
are
out to the Summit
crushing it.
Sisters.
Yeah, they've got
Honestly,
a good hustle
if
going
you
on.
live in and around Belleville, Ontario, and you need...
Get the Summit Sisters.
Get the Summit Sisters. They
They didn't show any photos of them to see if they're easy on the eyes or not. But
there's the one.
were they easy
The main
on the
one.
eyes?
Yeah, she's all right looking. But that's not the point.
It should be the point.
The point is...
All girls
they-
should have to do manual labor for, how in like Israel you have to do mandatory like army service.
Yeah.
Every girl should have to do mandatory 1 year of manual labor service so they can sort of, because so they'd be like know how hard it is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if you want to be a roofer, like all too, they go, there's only like 7%.
Well, I actually know a couple of girls that are in manual labor and they, take it seriously or whatever, but you go, that's a small percentage of people.
7. They actually Stats Can has it.
I mean, there's probably
7.
races like that. It's probably what percentage of Jewish people end up being fucking roofers? Like, that's probably also a small percentage. Like, demographics
Probably.
have demographics. You know what I
Their
mean?
demographics exist.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
It's good shit, though.
Assembled the Summit Sisters, and now they're leading a united call for better support and recruitment for women in the trades, which I
Women
actually
don't want to be in the trades.
No, but this is another thing that you actually think is probably a good thing, right? Because don't forget, one of the things is they're always kind of saying there needs to be 50-50 in everything, right?
Yeah.
But it actually would be better if they forced more girls to be in all these landscaping and other jobs that they don't want to be. It sort of would open up some spots in the other worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
If you made roofing 70% women, then you could have 30% men in like the jobs we do,
Yeah, like ballerinas.
ballerina. So it'd be good for us.
Yeah. I mean, good. Honestly, like, I'm sure they do a fine job of roofing. But
Some guy did a pretty good thing where he did it's just a guy's study, but he published it or whatever, and he was saying he did like 5,000.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
The
he sent
resumes?
The resumes.
Yeah, so a guy basically goes, he did resumes where he sent resumes to whatever, 1,000 places or 5,000 places or something like that. And he did it with the guys' names and they did it with girls' names. And he said he was doing normal jobs and the girls' names, same resume got.
This was for a computer, for something like computer science or something like that.
Yeah, he said they were 20% or 30% higher, and then he was like, okay, that's probably that, but maybe manual labor. And he goes, when he went to manual labor, it was actually like 90%
No,
higher.
they were way higher than that. It was like,
Yeah.
no, it was hundreds of percent higher.
Yeah,
it was
because
like 400 and 700.
because they get 85 guys and 2 girls, and they're like, oh, so they a lot of especially probably less if it's like a small guy just hiring 2 people, but if it's a big company, they're like, yeah, it would be nice to have like some girls or or like a trucking company or something like that, they want to get those numbers up. So it was like way easier for a girl, and it was like,
yeah, and
I mean, who knows?
I mean, it's the
I don't know if this study can be stamped and proved, but
I mean, Jamie Foxx.
I mean, it makes sense, but I'm just saying it's just a study.
Well,
so I'm
dude,
hesitant
Jamie
to-
Foxx, the reason his name is Jamie Foxx
Exactly.
is because he couldn't get booked ever, and then he started fucking putting his name down as Jamie Foxx, and he's
know.
like, all of a sudden, I got all these spots.
I know, right?
Because they weren't sure. They're like, maybe it's a chick. So then they just like, he got all the stage time.
It's the oldest trick in the book, in that field at least, anyway.
In every field. Maybe not every
In
field,
super girl dominated fields, maybe not. Like,
Yeah,
imagine
maybe.
you were doing improv.
No, but he said
No,
it
I'm
was
just saying,
like-
imagine there was improv and there was 8 girls and 2 guys.
Yeah.
It would be easier for a guy. But just fields that are,
No, they want to be 100% women. They don't need guys.
but a lot of
Because they love
improv.
playing guys.
I think you like playing guys.
Dude, tell me they don't like putting on a fucking fake mustache?
Girls do like playing guys.
I don't know. There might be some holes in that story. But no, the thing that you're talking about, the second one that was even more was, I think he was applying to like restaurants and stuff. He was applying to female dominated. He applied to male dominated first and then female dominated, and the female dominated still did way better.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Yeah. So both scenarios.
Maybe there's something that's
Yeah, I'm
different,
sure
but who
there
knows?
is. Major League Baseball.
Piano teacher.
Yeah.
The guy piano teachers are all molesters, though.
You got to watch out for them.
No longer just a man's job, they said. She made the 3.5-hour trip from Welland, while the other team members came from as far as that. A vast majority of Canadians working in trade, transport, and equipment operations are male, with only 7% identifying as female, according to the 2021 statistics. And probably most of those are like, butch lesbian kind of types, right? Even if they're just like, tomboy kind of types. Maybe they're too intimidated because it's considered a man's job. That's one of those things where, they'll always be like, hey, one of the things they'll say is girls, sometimes have like, worse paying jobs because they're bad at negotiating.
Yeah.
And I think there is something to be said about girls are like that. So I think realizing that is helpful to some women where you go, hey, like anyone it's kind of like someone that's like, I'm bad at networking, and the old Bill Burr thing was like, well, get good at it because it's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with girls, it's like, it is recognizing that, like, you know what, I'm negotiating worse. Like, once you put more effort into it, sometimes you become better at it because
Of course, like anything.
Yeah, exactly, right? So there is something to be said about that, but when that's not happening, they're like, well, they got a worse salary because they're negotiating worse. And you're like, okay, but like a lot of jobs, like, are negotiating jobs. Like, if you're like, you know what I mean? If you're like negotiating contracts, you're like, well, she's not as good at, you need to pay her more because she's not negotiating her contract. And you go, but that's the job, is
That is the
negotiating.
job,
So you
yeah.
kind of need to be good for that. Like sales, like so many things, negotiating prices probably is, in those jobs specifically, right?
I will say one thing though: the photo of this chick who runs this roofing company, that's her thing. So she's wearing knee pads in the photo, and I go, yeah, that could be tough if you're the only chick on a fucking all guy thing, and you're the chick wearing knee pads. A lot of jokes there. A lot of knee pad related jokes.
Knee pads.
Probably less knee pad jokes with all girl crew, or maybe
They go,
not.
Maybe they're just too intimidated because it's considered a man's job. That's probably the reason that they're not being roofers. I would say that most girls that I've met would have loved it. No, it was their dream
Yeah.
with that from a little girl to be a roofer. And then, they got there and they just said it was too intimidating. So they just gave up on their dream.
Their dream of being a roofer.
No, they wanted to from birth. When they're going around, they said, what do you want to do? Astronaut. I want to be the president. I want to be a roofer. And they said, well, and then, they did it in record time. It's absolutely beautiful. And she said, the roof is fantastic.
Guarantee.
Who knows how good
I
the
will
roof
bet
is?
any sum of money that they did not do it in record time.
Well, the flights alone.
There was no records set that weekend. Okay, I'm not trying to shit on their thing. I'm sure they did a fine job. There's fucking Guinness didn't show up being like, holy shit. You are the fastest roofing crew, not even for man or woman.
Oh my God. They go, hey, so are you guys thinking about getting started? We just finished.
What? It's record time. Fuck off.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. Put it this way: if they did it in record time, and probably that's not what you want.
CBC,
that's actually not what you want.
Yeah,
Where you know, how long does a roof normally take? Like 4 or 5 days. Generally, they come back. We go. We did it in 4 minutes.
I don't know why the fucking.
I don't know if that's a good.
I don't know why the thought of the man, like the husband of the woman who wanted this, is just like just stewing. He goes,
yeah. He must have been in on the scam.
He goes, they're done already, huh?
See that, honey? She did the 4-day roof, and girls did it in 3 minutes.
And he goes, oh.
You know what? The trick? They didn't use glue.
Yeah, they didn't use any nails.
Yeah,
No tar.
Normally people do 10 nails a thing. We just did 2 nails. That's called time saving. I don't know why no man's ever thought of that.
Wait, CBC is so ridiculous because this is obviously
they
a
are.
CBC article, but I actually have like a. I wonder if they're technically allowed to do this because it's a public thing, right? But CBC, on a lot of their Instagram posts, they turn comments off because they know that the comments are going to trash them.
Yeah.
And so they turn the comments off. And you're like, should they be allowed to do that?
No, they shouldn't. This is the government. Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to do
shouldn't
that.
be allowed
And
to
also,
turn the
that
comments-
data kind of is relevant. It's like the president turning his quote tweets. And
Well,
all
that's
that
what I'm
stuff
saying.
off.
But the problem is they turn
Closing
that off.
up the government paid for town square.
Yeah, but they know that they'll have like a new show from CBC that like is going to suck and everybody's going to hate, but it's trying to prove some point, like this roofer.
You're right,
thing.
because if everyone pays for it, they should be able to say that.
Yeah, like why do you decide that the comments are turned off on this?
You're right. I get what you're saying because it is true.
It's
Yeah,
like government.
you go. We paid for it.
Yeah, we paid for it. Fucking turn the comments on so we can tell you how much we hate this shit.
At the very
Or how much
least.
we like it. But they turn it off because they know.
Yeah.
They go, we
So
know
then why'd
this
you make
sucks.
it?
We know this sucks. We know everybody's going to hate this.
Stop making stuff with the like taxpayer basis money
Or
that you
just
know.
turn the comments on. Not even turn the comments on, just don't turn them off.
At least
That seems like you should
turn them
not be
on
allowed
for
to
a
do
little bit and then close them on. Give people a little taste.
That seems like they should not be allowed to
To
do
vent.
That seems not right.
It's funny watching you get fired up about that.
It is because I sometimes will see some CBC thing on Instagram and then you go see it because I'm always just like, oh, this is a piece of shit. Let's go see the comments because the comments are where as someone who still pays some taxes in Canada, I go I want my taxes going to an open comment section.
That's what you
right?
want, yeah.
That's what I want. That's the value I get is watching them get trashed in the comment section, right? Like that's what I get out of it. So then open the comment section up because then I really get nothing out of it
Yes.
other than fucking elevated blood pressure.
Oh my god. And then okay, one more funny thing, but this was I just love when it's the kind of there's a lot of things that were kind of my videos and jokes this weekend, but you know the one where it was like why the coronavirus is worse for women.
Yeah.
But they did why the heat wave is so dangerous for gender non-conforming people.
Yeah.
And did you read this one, right?
Of course.
I shouldn't have sent it to you because I kind of actually wanted you to guess because I don't think you could guess why. Like the reason.
I couldn't have guessed.
See what I'm saying?
When I read it, I go, where?
Like if you're at home right now,
with this?
think to yourself, you go, exactly. You go, where are they going with this? They go, the heat wave's way worse for gender non-conforming people. And you're thinking like, is it because they're saying they can't afford air conditioning?
That's what I
was kind of thinking something like that maybe.
They make less money, they can't afford air conditioning.
Something like that. You
That's
know what I mean?
That's 100%
They
what I
do
thought.
more jobs outside or you're
No,
trying
because I don't think that.
And then they go, the reason is they said because when it's hot, they have to wear skimpier clothes. Like they're wearing gayer clothes essentially, and they're saying they get harassed on the street
because of this heat wave. I have to wear a mesh crop top.
That's exactly what the article is. It was like it's a guy, and he goes a trans person. He says trans woman. He goes highlighted how heat can bring challenges to them because of heightened risk of abuse. And he says my attempt to keep cool in the heat is met with shouts of FAGGOT, they said, and freak, which seems, I don't think in any metropolitan city, like people, you see this, tenants, people dress like this every minute. So I don't think, and if you do get people yelling at you, it's a homeless person that was yelling at everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not to say that they're right for yelling at everybody, but it ain't unique. You know what I mean? But they go, and stares on the tube are directed to me for my outfit choices, which legitimately is. their argument is that they get to wear a parka in the winter and no one can see them, which they probably aren't wearing a parka in the winter. But then in the summer, she's got
They're wearing a parka, but with the nipples cut out.
yeah. In the summer, they've got a thong on,
Yeah.
and then like a mesh top with their nipples showing and stuff like that, or the new nipples showing,
Which is like pretty standard, like what gay people dress like a
in
lot
the
of
city.
often in the city.
But that
you know,
is,
like
I couldn't believe it even getting there. And then you go, what are you even proposing? Where you go, change the weather? Yeah. There's not even really any. I guess this all fits under
climate change.
Yeah, global warming. If global warming continues and to get worse, but also global warming makes it cooler when it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't it make so? It's like, well, it sort of evens out, so it doesn't even really like work that way because you go, oh, when it's winter, it's actually you get to cover up more.
Yeah, you get to cover up more. Yeah, you don't even get to go outside. It's so cold.
It was just like the most like.
Well, what about this? What if climate change gets so bad you could just never go outside? That's a win for them.
I think that's what
You
it
could
is.
never go outside. Big win. Big win.
So exactly, if it goes far enough, you're back to square one of it being good, right? And then there was another. Okay, I'll just do one more because it's in the same vein. Before we end it, but there was like a big Reddit Ask Me Anything. You know, this is a Your Tango article,
Yeah.
which is Your Tango has been becoming one of my favorites, right? But it's about this guy who was kind of going viral on Twitter, or on Reddit, and it kind of ended up a lot of places because it was a big AMA or whatever. But you know when people say, "Am I the asshole?"
Yep.
But this guy was saying the groom asks if he's wrong for kicking his gay brother out of the wedding because he wanted to wear a rainbow suit. And it's like a big debate where this guy's getting married and his brother. I mean, can you imagine? My brother said that. I mean, I might think it's funny personally because I probably wouldn't care about that shit.
Yeah.
But I get if you're like a normal guy and you're like, you want your wedding photos to look a certain way.
Yeah, you go have a dress code.
That's if you're gonna be in the wedding party, that's like the most
Dude, are you ever
standard thing is you go, this is how you have to dress.
You get a fucking thing. It says straight up, like you get like invitation says black tie. You know.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
That's what it is.
And sometimes the one wacky guy, maybe undoes some buttons or wears like cowboy boots or something that really
like,
didn't fit what other people are going to wear.
Or he wears like, a
leather jacket
Larry
over
David,
the top.
like doesn't wear leather shoes or something.
Mhm.
Wears,
Yeah,
like,
you wear
Vans.
That's you know what I mean. But other than that, it's like I guess that's the difference between having a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Like I think any guy was like, hey, we're going to your sister's wedding, and you go to pop the rainbow on. She'd probably be like, what? Come on,
Yeah.
like you can't. You try to make everything about
And
you.
if it's his brother, you're in the wedding party. So you're in the whole, like, you're actually in like the
Photos.
The photos.
The
like,
photos is the main thing. Imagine forever you're just a normal couple and your photos on the mantle is one person in a like a rainbow suit.
Yeah.
And then so he basically told the brother
first of all,
not to come.
I promise you the wife wasn't pumped about this either. She's probably way less pumped.
And then the guy threw a tantrum and he said he's not coming to the wedding if he can't wear his rainbow suit, and he didn't like the way that his brother talked to him. It was hot topic on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, that seems pretty reasonable. I mean, again, it's pretty unreasonable to want to wear the fucking.
Well, it was like this is one of those things where then the brother's kind of saying he's homophobic and all this stuff, but it's like 101 of like, yo, you're trying to make everything about you. There's no others, like nothing else going on here.
Of course. Like, I mean, if you get invited to a wedding and you're a boy and you show up like that, like if you're not gay and or whatever, you show up all wacky, like, or in a t-shirt and shorts. Like,
Yes.
yeah, you're not going to be fucking, they're not going to be fans of you.
Give me a break, pal. Anywho,
I like the rainbow suit though.
we got actually some I know I was plugging the Patreon a lot this week, but I feel like I have a good episode is one of the reasons too. We have this we're going to be talking about there's this vampire website of a guy that thinks he's a vampire and pretty good stuff in there.
He is a vampire, right?
Yeah, there's some Johnny Depp stuff in his Why Science is Sexist article, a bunch of different things that are going to be on the Patreon
Some
this week.
good shit.
Yeah, I think we got. I think we're gonna do an interview also on this Tuesday coming up. Unless he cancels on us, we have a pretty big guest coming in tomorrow, but we'll see.
Yes.
And
it's
then
so big
we
that
actually
it might
have
have to
we
be
have a
over
big guest the
Zoom.
next week too. So we got a couple of cool big guests coming in. So some cool
Our first Zoom guest.
Well, yeah,
but circumstance.
Well, let's stop talking about it in
All
case it doesn't
right.
happen.
You never know. It's Donald Trump.
Who's one that it has to be that?
It's Trump.
It's Baron Trump.
It's Putin.
He's not leaving. It's
It's
Putin.
Putin. I cannot,
Fuck, we spilled the beans.
I cannot leave Russia.
It is not Russia
It is
for me to leave.
Vladimir. Pop your top. Get the top off.
We said we're going to be in there. He goes, can I take top off? And can you have women with top off?
Yes, Vladimir.
So this has been another episode of your favorite podcast, The BOYSCAST.
The boys.
The BOYSCAST.
The lads.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST.
The bros.
It's the